Hi, I'm Donna Moen. I've been in Gallery Row for about 30 years, and that is my primary avenue to sell my work. It has been the whole time. I've done the Gig Harbor Art Festival since it was started, which I think was about 30 years ago, maybe 35 years ago. Enjoying the group there and the camaraderie we have with each other, and supporting each other in creating our art. A friend of mine was telling me that she was starting to paint with encaustics, which I had heard of, but I hadn't really researched much. And it really resonated with me. I have tons of photographs from airplanes, and I really wanted to do the medium that looks down. So from above I had my whole first series was called From Above. Encaustic is a medium that is beeswax resin. It involves heating pots of wax. It involves torching each layer, and it's a lot of fun. It's really different from my very specific watercolors that I did. When we built the house, I was just a watercolor painter, and so we used one corner for my watercolor painting, and that was my studio, and the rest was like a family room. Now that I've taken up encaustics about 7 or 8 years ago, it takes a lot more space, a lot more electricity, takes a fan for ventilation. I love being up here. We have a better view from up here, and I can get a lot of airflow, which is really important. I buy my encaustic medium from Swan's Candle, and it looks like this brick loaf, and it fits into my loaf pan, which I have on these pancake griddles. So my palette are really pancake griddles, and most of the time I mix the paint that I'm going to use in little pots. But I paint on cradled wood boards, so the back is supported by this edge like that. It's a birch plywood top. Paint the sides, or don't paint the sides, and then tape them to keep the wax off of the sides. I dusted this off, and then take this fabulous new brush I put on here. And put this layer of clear down. And I will fuse this and put more layers of clear down until we have a pretty good sealed surface. Encaustic medium is beeswax with damar resin in it. So you're fusing the wax with a pretty hot torch into the board, and then you'll do that over and over, maybe 3 times with the clear. This piece has about 4 layers of clear on it. Every layer I've fused with a torch, and then I'm going to put some white layers on it. Every layer is the beeswax resin, and then with medium added that colors it. So when I use colored paints, I have all these colors in here, and then you take, say if you wanted this blue, you take a hunk of it with your knife and you put it in a little pot of clear, and then you make a paint. So I'm going to do the same thing I did with the clear. Now I've got this tool here. These are pottery tools, and I'm just going to smooth out some of the blobs that I got so that I don't have to hover over them too much with the torch, because if you hover over them, then it all goes through the white and down to the clear and makes your surface not so white. So then I will put about 3 layers of white on this. If I want a black background, then instead of the white, I would put black. This is a piece I've just started recently. It has a few layers of white on it, And then I put these layers of what I would call like sea colors. And I'm gonna make this into a beach scene, but not from the beach, from an aerial. I'm picking this for a sand color. The real struggle I have, having come from being a watercolor painter all my life, is that there is not a lot of blending. So if I wanted to blend something with watercolor, then I would get out some water and a soft brush, and here there just is no going back. There's streaks and the streaks stay, and you just have to kind of work with them and work around them. I'm going to try to kind of demo what we might get or try to do to get a shoreline or the wave action. If you're flying overhead, the waves, are pretty white and ripply. So I'll put some white encaustic on here. And you know how it is, there's always like a lines where the waves come in a certain pattern. We'll pretend it's like this. I have a reference photo, but I don't have it with me right now. And we'll see if this does anything. Doesn't always. This is the part I really am enjoying about this medium, which is what I always liked about watercolors. I always like my watercolor paintings to have some magic places in them where the paint and water do what they want, and it's enjoyable to look at for a long, long time. And with encaustics, I feel the same way. You can make really lovely little areas that are bubbles, and it'll give you something to enjoy years down the road. It's not just a flat painting, it's not just a flat medium. It's organic, I guess, in some ways. And basically you're painting with fire. That's kind of, you lay it down with a brush, but then you have to use your fire. So I'll turn down my torch and see if I can do something a little lighter here. You have to use the fire to move your paint around. I'm going to put this out here because sometimes the wave action out away from the beach is a little less frothy, less intense. Some paint next to this, some of the dark blues, so that it has something to kind of meld into. Or interact with, I guess might be a way to put it. I guess I'd call myself self-taught, but the internet is so rich with cool people who are willing to share and to demonstrate things and give you tips. And there's a couple of painters who do encaustic work, fabulous encaustic work in Seattle, and I've gone to their shows. They've been very kind, very open about sharing tips of things, which I think is the fun part of being in an artist community.